In Formula One, it's not just about speed and skill, it's about rivalries that define eras, push drivers to their limits, and create some of the most unforgettable moments in motorsport history. From legendary duels to bitter feuds, these are the top 10 F1 rivalries of all time. 10. Lewis Hamilton versus Max Verstappen. Starting at number 10 is a rivalry still fresh in the minds of F1 fans. Lewis Hamilton versus Max Verstappen. This battle came to a head during the 2021 season, marking one of the most intense title fights in recent history. Hamilton, a 7-time world champion, was the undisputed king of the hybrid era, but Verstappen, the young, fearless Dutchman, was ready to end his reign. Their battles were explosive and often controversial. Silverstone saw one of the most talked about incidents when the two collided, sending Verstappen into the barriers at high speed. Then came Monza, where both ended up in the gravel after another clash, their cars stacked on top of each other. It all led to a dramatic final showdown in Abu Dhabi, where a late safety car restart led to a one-lap shootout. Verstappen seized his chance, taking the lead and snatching his first world title, ending Hamilton's bid for an 8th. This rivalry left fans divided, and one thing was clear: it was only just beginning. 9. Fernando Alonso versus Lewis Hamilton. Next up, we head back to 2007, when a rookie named Lewis Hamilton burst onto the scene, taking on his teammate, 2-time world champion Fernando Alonso. Few could have predicted the fireworks that would follow. Both were driving for McLaren, a team that expected to dominate the season with their star-studded lineup. However, what unfolded was a fierce internal battle. Hamilton, in his debut season, matched and often outpaced Alonso, leading to moments of intense friction. The Hungarian Grand Prix was a flashpoint, with Alonso deliberately blocking Hamilton in the pit lane during qualifying. The incident cost McLaren crucial points and exposed the deepening rift within the team. By the end of the season, the rivalry had spiraled out of control, and both drivers lost out on the championship to Kimi Raikkonen by just a single point. Alonso would leave the team after just one season, and Hamilton's career trajectory as a future legend began. This rivalry set the stage for one of the most successful careers in F1 history. 8. Sebastian Vettel versus Lewis Hamilton. At number 8, we have a rivalry that spanned 2 seasons, pitting 2 multiple-time world champions against each other, Sebastian Vettel versus Lewis Hamilton. The years 2017 and 2018 saw Ferrari mount a serious challenge to Mercedes, and at the heart of it was Vettel, a 4-time world champion determined to bring glory back to the Scuderia. The season started with a promising battle. Both drivers were exchanging wins, and fans were treated to some thrilling races, such as the tense duel in Spain and Austria. But the rivalry wasn't without controversy. One of the most memorable moments was in Baku 2017, where Vettel infamously collided with Hamilton behind a safety car, accusing him of brake testing. Despite Ferrari's early season pace, mistakes and reliability issues saw Mercedes and Hamilton capitalize, allowing him to win both titles. By the end of 2018, Hamilton had cemented his legacy, while Ferrari's challenge had faded. It was a rivalry that showed the relentless competition between 2 legends of the sport. 7. Nigel Mansell versus Nelson Piquet. At number 7, we have one of the most intense teammate rivalries in F1 history: Nigel Mansell versus Nelson Piquet. This battle played out at Williams during the mid-1980s, a period when the team was at the top of their game. Piquet, a 2-time world champion, joined Williams expecting to be the team leader. But Mansell, with his aggressive and determined driving style, wasn't about to play second fiddle. The tension between the two was palpable, with each trying to outdo the other. Piquet would often use his strategic mind to get the upper hand, while Mansell relied on sheer speed and bravado. The 1986 season was particularly intense, with both drivers in the title hunt alongside McLaren's Alain Prost. Their rivalry peaked with the infamous Multi-21 incident, where team orders were ignored, and Mansell's aggressive driving often led to spectacular clashes. Ultimately, Piquet secured the title, but the rivalry significantly impacted both their careers and showcased the fierce competition within a team. 6. Gilles Villeneuve versus Didier Pironi. At number 6, we delve into a rivalry that is both legendary and tragic. Gilles Villeneuve versus Didier Pironi. Both drove for Ferrari in the late 1970s and early 1980s, and while they initially shared a strong bond, it quickly turned competitive. Villeneuve was known for his fearless driving style and a passion for racing that endeared him to fans. Pironi, on the other hand, was more calculated. Their rivalry reached a boiling point at the 1982 San Marino Grand Prix, where Pironi overtook Villeneuve despite team orders to maintain position. Villeneuve felt betrayed, and the rift only widened. Tragically, just weeks later, Villeneuve lost his life in a qualifying crash at Zolder, leaving Pironi devastated and with a sense of guilt. This rivalry serves as a poignant reminder of the dangers of F1 and the emotional stakes involved in the sport. 5. Niki Lauda versus James Hunt. At number 5, we have one of the most iconic rivalries in F1 history. Niki Lauda versus James Hunt. Their rivalry defined the 1976 season, marked by stark contrasts in personality and racing style. Lauda was a meticulous engineer and a serious competitor, while Hunt was a charismatic playboy known for his party lifestyle. Their rivalry intensified following Lauda's horrific crash at the Nürburgring, which left him fighting for his life. Remarkably, he returned to racing just 6 weeks later, displaying incredible determination. The climax of their rivalry came at the final race of the season in Japan, where Lauda, feeling the conditions were too dangerous, withdrew from the race. Hunt seized the opportunity to secure the championship by just 1 point. Their rivalry was the subject of the film Rush, highlighting their contrasting approaches to racing and life. 4. Sebastian Vettel versus Mark Webber. At number 4, we have a rivalry that tore Red Bull apart. Sebastian Vettel versus Mark Webber. Both drivers enjoyed tremendous success while racing for Red Bull during the early 2010s, but their relationship quickly soured. The 2010 season began with both drivers vying for the championship, but tension escalated when Vettel ignored team orders during the Multi-21 incident in 2013, passing Webber for the win despite being told to maintain position. This act of defiance sparked outrage within the team and amongst fans. Throughout their rivalry, they often exchanged barbs in the media, further fueling the flames of competition. In the end, Vettel emerged as the dominant driver, winning 4 consecutive titles, while Webber announced his retirement from F1. Their rivalry highlighted the challenges of teammate dynamics in a highly competitive environment. 3. Alain Prost versus Ayrton Senna. At number 3, we have one of the most celebrated and bitter rivalries in F1. Alain Prost versus Ayrton Senna. This rivalry dominated the late 1980s and early 1990s and is characterized by fierce competition and contrasting personalities. Prost, known as the Professor, was analytical and strategic, while Senna was passionate and aggressive. Their most infamous clash occurred at the 1988 Japanese Grand Prix, where they collided while battling for the championship. This incident intensified their rivalry, leading to more controversial moments in subsequent seasons. Throughout their careers, they exchanged victories and often pushed each other to their limits. Their rivalry culminated in the 1990 Japanese Grand Prix, where Senna deliberately crashed into Prost at the first corner, sealing the championship for himself. The tension between them made for captivating drama on and off the track, and it remains one of the most iconic rivalries in the history of motorsport. 2. Jim Clark versus Graham Hill. At number 2, we turn back the clock to the 1960s, where 2 of the greatest drivers of the era, Jim Clark and Graham Hill, battled it out on the track. Clark was known for his incredible speed and precision, while Hill was celebrated for his consistency and determination. Both drivers raced for different teams, with Clark driving for Lotus and Hill for BRM. Their rivalry was marked by fierce competition, but also a mutual respect. They fought for championships in the 1960s, often pushing each other to their limits. The 1968 season was particularly intense, as both drivers had their sights set on the title. Clark's tragic death in a Formula 2 race in 1968 shocked the motorsport world and ended their rivalry prematurely. Their legacies remain intertwined, as both drivers are remembered as two of the greatest talents in F1 history. 1. Michael Schumacher versus Mika Häkkinen. Finally, at number 1, we have the legendary rivalry between Michael Schumacher and Mika Häkkinen. This epic duel defined the late 1990s and early 2000s, featuring two of the sport's greatest talents battling for supremacy. Schumacher, driving for Ferrari, was known for his relentless pursuit of victory and unmatched skill. Häkkinen, racing for McLaren, was equally talented and brought a cool demeanor to the track. Their rivalry peaked during the 1998 and 1999 seasons, where they exchanged victories and title battles, with Häkkinen claiming the championship in 1998 and Schumacher taking it in 1999. One of the most memorable moments of their rivalry occurred at the 2000 Belgian Grand Prix, where Häkkinen and Schumacher went wheel to wheel, showcasing their driving prowess. The two drivers respected each other immensely, often praising one another's skills in interviews, yet their fierce competition pushed each to new heights. The intensity of their battles, coupled with their contrasting styles, Häkkinen's smoothness versus Schumacher's aggressive precision, made for captivating racing. This rivalry helped elevate the sport's popularity and set the stage for future generations of drivers. Their legacies continue to inspire and captivate fans worldwide. From wheel-to-wheel battles to dramatic clashes, these rivalries have shaped the history of Formula One, adding layers of excitement and drama to each season. They remind us that in F1, it's not just about who crosses the finish line first, but the stories and emotions that unfold along the way. Thank you for joining us as we explored the top 10 F1 rivalries of all time. Which rivalry do you think should have made the list? Let us know in the comments below.